A connection is made with the book of Genesis of how the Lord comforts the hurting and sends his angels with messages to his children. In Genesis 16:11, Hagar, the bondservant to Abraham and Sarah, is visited by an angel. She is told that she would bear a son and call his name Ishmael. The Lord had heard her affliction. The name signifies the Lord was displeased by the unjust treatment given to her by Abraham and Sarah. In Genesis 21:10, Sarah says to Abraham, "Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for he shall not be an heir with my son Isaac." Abraham took Hagar to the wilderness of Beersheba. The story continues, and God heard the voice of the lad crying and gave a prophecy to him for his life and opened the eyes of Hagar. She saw a well of water and gave to her son to drink. Bir Laharoi is the name she gave this place because God saw her out of heaven. According to Colossians 3:25, God is no respecter of persons. In this case, Hagar was a servant. She was only obeying her masters according to the flesh. A generation later, Abraham's son Isaac dug a well near the same place after many mistrials. Finally, the well came forth, and Isaac's servants digging at this valley and found that there was a well of springing water. He in turn blessed his son Jacob. Now Jacob inherited the land, same place, and Jacob fell asleep on a rock. And as he dreamed, he beheld a ladder set upon the earth, and on top of it reached to the heavens. Behold, the angels of God ascending and descending upon it. Jacob called this place Bethel, the house of God. It is the gate of heaven. Jacob rose up early in the morning and he made an altar, and he took that stone that he had used for a pillow and he set it up and he poured oil upon it. An everlasting covenant is made. God's people would be even as the stars of the heaven and the sands of the sea. This speaks of the earthly and the spiritual. It was the original covenant given to Abraham, the father of faith. Now, this is also called the place of weeping. The continuation of Jacob's well is seen in John 4, when Jesus, the spiritual leader, he came, and here he is, the actual spiritual leader, and we call him the ladder, the representative of the angels of old that ascended and descended. He is more than that. Jesus is God, the true messenger, the spiritual ladder who came from heaven, and he had to go to Samaria that day to meet with this woman and to make a fulfillment to her. He met this wounded woman, the woman at the well, Jacob's well. Scripture continuously refers to the message of hope in the midst of despair. And I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valley, and I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land a spring of water. And that's from the book of Isaiah. Jesus said to this woman, he said to her, if you only knew the gift of God that I give you, it is water that will spring up in you for everlasting life, and you will never thirst again. Now the conversation goes back and forth, and the woman said, I can't give you water, and you don't have a cup to dip with, and the well is very deep. But now the conversation changes. As it does very often in Scripture, it goes to another subject altogether, and the woman begins to say that her ancestors had worshipped on that mountain. And Jesus said, believe me, the hour comes when you shall neither worship in this mountain nor in Jerusalem, because your worship unto the Father shall be in spirit and in truth. Now, this is the true message that Jesus wanted to give to this woman. But he had also told her all the things about her life. And she was astounded. And finally she said, "You must be the Messiah, for nobody would know these things except you." And she drops her earthly task of gathering water, places her pot down, and runs to tell everybody in the village, "I have met a man, and he must be the Messiah. He told me everything about my life." And of course, she is the first evangelist in the Bible. Jesus had to go to Samaria that day. He had to meet with this poor and lost and wounded person, just like the angel of the Lord had met Hagar so long ago. So here is Jesus, the true God, the God that is the true messenger, the true love, the true and the love and the gift of God that is living water. More scriptures that speak of this, of course, are from the book of Revelation. And here we see the singing of the song, "Thou art worthy, thou art worthy," to take and open the book of life, the seals thereof, for those that are redeemed by the Lord. And he takes out of every kindred and every tongue and every people and every nation those that will believe. Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. And then blessed are those that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they truly shall be filled. From the book of Psalms, chapter 42 and 2. Today, do you hunger and thirst for the living God? Do you know that he is the only one that can fulfill your need, that he is the only one that has the living water that will satisfy your thirst? Truly, Jesus said, "If anyone come to me, he will never thirst again, for I give you living water."